Bruh, bruh, bruh. Well, hey there, everybody. It is time to go through all of the games for the Steam Autumn Sale under $5. No time to dilly or dally. There are so many of these things. This is the second time I'm going through this list. It was like making my computer crash out. There's so many games. That's right. So yeah, let's hope we can get it this time. First up, it is 20XDX, which is a roguelike Mega Man-like, which is a super cool idea. Yeah, these are, I call it a chunk generation for procedural generation. So like, so that the levels fit together and you can Mega Man it out. They figured out a way to like use chunks of levels that work together that you can put together to make cohesive levels that are never the same way twice. And they're really cool boss battles, and you can level up your character over time. Very cool. If you like Mega Man, this is an excellent game. You should get it. It is 80% off at $2.99. The Adventure Pals. I am always telling people about this game. This game is hilarious. Basically, you are a kid with a giraffe in your backpack and a friendly rock who follows you around and helps you do all kinds of stuff. And you are the Adventure Pals. You go on an adventure because all the old people are being turned into hot dogs, and you have to help save them. And it's, yeah, there's a lot of beat 'em up elements and, you know, really cool action platforming, some light puzzle solving, but mostly it is one of the cutest games ever made. Absolutely adorable. Anyway, it is 80% off at $2.99. If you like cute things, Adventure Pals, I cannot recommend it enough. Ape Out. Ape Out is, not at all like Adventure Pals, because in this one, you are an ape who goes nuts. It reminds me of boxing on the Atari 2600. Basically, you're an ape who breaks out of your cage. They're doing experiments on you, so you're like intelligent and whatnot, but you're super strong, and you can grab dudes who are trying to shoot you, and you can use their guns to shoot them. You can chuck guys at other guys. You can use doors as shields. There's like a ton of cool stuff that you can do. So this game is all about the controls, which are excellent, more than it is about like, you know, because it's very top down. It's not like super high defy type graphics. It's a graphical choice to not be that, but to also, you know, represent well what it is representing. Top down, just full out mayhem. Very cool game. 80% off at $2.99. Apotheon. Apotheon is one of the coolest Metroidvanias I have ever seen, in that it looks like old Greek art. It looks like a Grecian urn, but it's a Metroidvania, and so all of the characters look like old school Greek art, but they control, like, the controls are tight and good, and so even though it's this very, you know, Greek art style, everything is tight and awesome and exactly what it should be. It's got a good story, it's got good, like, boss battles and just battles in general, and the Metroidvania elements are really cool. It is definitely worth playing. And it's a really awesome game, and it is 75% off at $3.74. Axiom Verge. This is one that I tell people about all the time because, you know, when Hollow Knight kind of took over as the main Metroidvania of note, and I have recommended Hollow Knight. It's an excellent game, but like there were a few games that were competition for Hollow Knight in that space early on as like contenders for the crown. And this is one of them. And you know, those games that people kind of slept on, it's not that they're not also excellent, because they are. It's just that Hollow Knight is a level of excellence that is a bit above and beyond, which is why they can charge more for it, and why we are all waiting with bated breath for Silk Song. But Axiom Verge is right up there. It's got a great story. It is excellent pixel art. It is definitely inspired by Super Metroid in really cool ways. If you like Super Metroid, if you like Metroidvanias, it is 75% off at $4.99. The Banner Saga. Now, there are 3 games in the Banner Saga. They are all currently on sale for $4.99. This is a really cool art style that reminds me of Don Bluth cartoons, honestly. And the cool thing about this game, it is a turn-based RPG with just gorgeous art, and it is, I always tell people, it is one of the most choices matter games I have ever played. and I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. So, like, for me to say this is a huge Choices Matter game, yes, absolutely. So you can see it's turn-based, it's tactical, it's fantasy. It looks like a cool Don Bluth cartoon, which, you know, Don Bluth made. He was a competitor of Disney, and all of his movies were dark and cool. Talk about like Secret of Nim and whatnot. If you want to know, that's kind of my go-to recommendation for Don Bluth animation, Secret of Nim. Anyway, Banner Saga, very, very cool game. There are 3 of them. They are all $4.99 each. The deluxe edition's $5.99, comes with a soundtrack. You can play it multiplayer. There is a trilogy deluxe pack. Wait, no, that's yours is going to be a different price because I already have it. See, this is why I hate doing it. I prefer to do it in the browser because then it will show me the actual collection deals that I can't show because I already own them. Anyway, but yeah, Banner Saga, really cool. It is $4.99. Bastion. Bastion is a Supergiant game. All of the Supergiant games are on sale right now. That means Pyre, Transistor, Hades. I know I'm forgetting one. I mean, obviously Bastion. Anyway, but everything that Supergiant has ever done is really cool, and this is one of the early Supergiant games. The cool thing about Bastion, so you're this kid who is action RPGing your way through a world that is actively falling apart. And as you're doing it, the narrator narrates your every move, every button press, everything that you do, he narrates, and it's really funny and fun. He makes a lot of snarky comments about things that you do, and it makes for really interesting and engaging gameplay. So Bastion, it's a really fun game, and it is $2.99 at 80% off. Batman Arkham City. I am bad about knowing. I think this is the first of the Arkham games. All of the Arkham games seem to be on sale right now, so I am recommending any of the Arkham games. I believe they are all under $5 right now, so whichever ones you have, whichever ones you don't have, yeah, these are really, really cool Batman games that preserve the sort of, Dark Knight kind of aesthetic that we really like, because everybody likes it when the Batman is extra dark. And so these games bring that, absolutely. And yeah, there are multiple menus of them. Oh yeah, you can get the entire collection. It says $8.99. I mean, that might not be the actual price, but I could tell you that 80% off for $3.99, you can get the Arkham City Game of the Year. So yeah, recommended, absolutely. Battle Chef Brigade. This one I love recommending because it's so cute. Your protagonist here is adorable. I love the way that she moves in the world. Like, she has a very like anime girl kind of movement and style. Anyway, this game is multiple different things. So it's like action RPG meets cooking game meets like, yeah, it's a lot of things. There's match 3 elements when you're putting your meals together. You have to decide because you're going out and killing monsters, and the rarer and harder to kill the monster is, the more delicious it's going to be. But you have to also figure in the time that it takes to cook it and everything. So yeah, for every round it's like Iron Chef, but you have to kill monsters to cook them. And when you cook them, it's a match 3 kind of a thing. And it blends multiple gameplay styles together beautifully. It's really cute and very fun. It's 80% off at $3.99. BDSM. Yeah, we're just pairing games together that don't go together. Big Drunk Satanic Massacre is exactly what the name implies. It is an isometric arena type, twin sticky type shooter, and it is like raucous, crazy sense of humor that is, offensive. It borders on offensive. Let's just say that. So it's definitely not for everybody, but it's very funny and it's very fun. And the guns are insane, and the gameplay just never stops going. It's a really, really cool game, and I recommend that you play it. It is 88% off at $239. Bioshock Remastered. And this goes for, that's not my actual birth date. Don't tell Steam. Anyway, I am old enough, by the way. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, this is a very, very cool type of game that, has a sort of steampunk aesthetic, and it is, there's like horror elements and action, some puzzle solving, some, shooter elements, and a lot of things mashed together. But more than anything, it's an experience. And yeah, people love the Bioshock games with reason. You can get the whole collection at 80% off, 75% off for just this game, which comes with the original Bioshock and Bioshock Remastered for just $4.99 at 75% off. So that's a fun one to have. Black Mesa. Ooh, I still remember when this came out. I was like, wow, Valve is really cool about people developing stuff based on their, like, I wish everybody was as cool as Valve. Like, what a world we would live in if Disney were more like Valve. But instead, they're, the most evil corporation on the planet. Well, one of Disney. They are evil, and I don't like them. Anyway, but yeah, Black Mesa is the original Half-Life experience, but in modern graphics. It looks so much better. It plays so much better. It is so much better. And yeah, it's an impressive achievement, says lots of people. Yeah, it is. It looks and plays phenomenally. Yeah, so if you are a if you're a Black Mesa fan, no, if you are a Half-Life fan, you owe it to yourself to try playing it in this way. See, overwhelmingly positive said 110,000 people, 75% off at $4.99. What? Blue Shift. They did Blue Shift. Yeah, you got to give it to them. I mean, what won't they do now that they know that they can remake the original? Blasphemous. Oh boy, here we go. This is a Metroidvania Souls-like. So Souls-like meaning very difficult. I love that that's just a genre that we have. And I know people get on my case. They're like, there's more to it than that. You have to roll around on the ground to get away from the big old bosses. Sure. Whatever you need. Look, I'm not here to get all high and mighty about, what does and does not cause something to be a part of a genre. What I am here to tell you is that this game is very cool. It is very difficult, but yeah, the sort of weird religious overtones and the crazy violence. Like, it is a very violent, very cool game. Incredibly fun, difficult to master. But yeah, if you like a good Metroidvania, if you like a challenge, it is 80% off at $4.99 is the Blasphemous. Blossom Tale, the Sleeping King. This game is super cute. These kids go up to their grandpa and they're like, tell us a story. Don't tell us the one about Link in Hyrule. Let's hear about a very similar looking game. For real. Yeah, this looks and plays a lot like Zelda, except there's a lot more puzzle solving in this game than you will find in most Zelda games. And it's, yeah, the puzzle solving gets pretty intense, especially in later levels. And you are going to, there are puzzles, like I have handwritten notes. You know how long it's been since a game made me make handwritten notes? Like, it's been a while. It has been a while. But man, yeah, very cool, very fun game. And I recommend that you play it if you like Zelda-type games. It's really, really fun. It's 75% off at $3.74. Broforce. Yeah, it doesn't matter which video I show you, neither one will show any amount of gameplay whatsoever. The thing you need to know about Broforce is that it's a very silly game, but it's also an excellent game. You play as literally every action movie superhero ever. And I mean every single one of them. From, John Wick to Rambo to, yeah, it is everybody. Everybody. They've even included female bros, which, does that make sense? It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to, because this game is silly. Here's what it actually looks like. And every single part of the environment is destructible, and it's very, very fun to play. You can play it multiplayer. A lot of people enjoy playing it that way the most. It's 80% off at $2.99. Cat Quest. I believe Cat Quest 2 is also on sale, but this is one of the cutest action RPGs I have ever played. And it has a lot of really, really interesting game mechanics. Like, the enemy, you can see their attacks building up and you have to like evade before their attack hits. So yeah, there's a decent amount of rolling around on the ground on this one, so feel free to call me out for hypocrisy if need be. But it is cats, and I love me kitty cats. This is so cute. So freaking cute. So yeah, Cat Quest. You should play it if you like action RPGs and or cats. It is 75% off at $3.24. And I know that Cat Quest 2 is also on sale. This is just showing me Cat Quest 3 because it's the one game I don't have of the trilogy. Yeah. So, up next, Celeste. I will tell you up front that if you don't mind waiting, this will probably be slightly cheaper by a buck or two when the winter sale comes along. This is not an all-time low price, but this is an excellent game. It is some difficult platforming, especially if you want to get every little strawberry, but it is one of the most inventive difficult platformers you are likely to ever play. And just a lot of really fascinating game mechanics and a really, really good story that is very, very almost endlessly engaging. And it's also cute and awesome and heartwarming. It's 75% off at $4.99. Child of Light is a beautiful RPG that it is action in the movement throughout the world and turn-based in the actual RPG combat, which is interesting and fun. I kind of like that when it's, like roam around however you like. There's platforming and whatnot. Oh, it has this beautiful watercolor style art, and the whole game is very much about coping with death. Which, yeah, we lost the kitty cat recently that we had for a long time. It makes us very sad. And so, like, yeah, things about coping with death, sure, absolutely. We need help sometimes. Anyway, yeah, this is what the combat looks like, and it's really cool. Reminds me of, Final Fantasy type combat where turn order and positioning are crucial. Anyway, very fun, very beautiful game. 70% off at $4.49 is the Child of Light. Code of Princess. Oh, if you like some fan service and you like some hack and slash, this is hack and slash fan service galore. Yes, thank you for everybody who made it. Peace has ended, and so has wearing shirts, because this princess is about to go out in her underoos and just, wreak havoc. And yeah, it is, beat 'em up RPG hybrid. Yep, it is all of those things. But it is also a tremendous amount. I mean, you see this? She technically is covered. Technically, schmechnically, but not really. Not so much that you'd notice. But yeah, a lot of fan service in this, but more than that, it plays really well. It is a really cool RPG, and it's really fun. I like it a lot. It is 75% off at $3.74. Company of Heroes. Company of Heroes is an RTS, a strategy type game where you get to know your dudes just a little bit more than normal. I want to make sure that we get to the actual gameplay. But yeah, the thing that's cool about Company of Heroes is that you can get as close as you like to the action. Like, I like it when an RTS lets you, get really into the action yourself. In, not quite first person, you're still third personing the thing. I mean, these are what the cutscenes look like. Yes, we get it. But the actual gameplay looks like this, and you get very attached to your dudes, and so you're going to want to save all of them, and so you're going to have to make some very serious decisions about, where to plant your guys and how and when to advance them and where to take cover and all of that. It all matters. Anyway, 75% off at $4.99. And fun thing is that Company of Heroes 2 is also on sale for basically the same price. So if you like Company of Heroes 1 and you don't have 2 yet, there you go. Cosmic Star Heroine is one of the greatest 16-bit RPGs I have ever played. And that includes 16-bit RPGs of the 16-bit era. I'm telling you, this game is fantastic. Zeboyd Games, who made this, they also make the Cthulhu games like Cthulhu Saves the World, Cthulhu Saves Christmas, those games which are, very silly and do a lot of send-up stuff for RPGs, kind of making fun of the genre, but like this one that takes place in a cyberpunk world is awesome. Cosmic Star Heroine, really cool characters, really cool story, a lot of really interesting game mechanics that you probably have not seen in a game like this before. It is like these guys know their RPGs, and so there are other games which are kind of send-ups and spoofs of the RPG genre. This one is a love letter. This one is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It is 80% off at $2.99, and I really, really love this game, Cosmic Star Heroine. Crypt of the Necrodancer. I am not a fan of rhythm games in general, not because I don't have rhythm. I do play the bass guitar, which is part of the rhythm section, and I have good rhythm. But the thing of it is that most rhythm games I just find boring. Like, ooh, push this button to the beat. Like, I don't know why I should care that that is a thing that I can do. You know, I've never wanted to be the guy in a singlet, sweating hard, you know, playing Dance Dance Revolution. I've just never wanted to be that guy. I know that guy. I am friends with that guy. I know people who literally are that guy. Go to an arcade and just own the DDR machine all night. You know, and like, kudos to you for being really good at a thing. But for me, most rhythm games are terrible, except for this one, which you are going through a dungeon to the beat of the music. And there's really nothing like it out there. It's a really cool RPG dungeon crawler experience that you learn. It's a core game mechanic. Just move to the beat and you'll get the hang of it. And pretty soon it won't even feel like you're playing a rhythm game. You just get into the beat and you just go. Anyway, it is 80% off at $2.99. And yeah, see, even a game style that I don't normally like, do something cool with it, and I probably will like it. Darksiders. Now, this is a cool game. This, you know, hails back to the PS3 era, so it is getting a little long in the tooth, but it's a really, really cool series where, like, hell comes to Earth. Literally, in the modern day. And yeah, you get to be this guy who looks all business, and as you might imagine, has a lot of really cool moves that you can do. And so there's hack and slash, beat 'em uppy kind of elements and RPGing elements, but more than anything, it's just a whole lot of fun. It is 75% off at $4.99. Disgaea. I love me some Disgaea. Disgaea is my all-time favorite tactical RPG series. Like, it's just the best one. There is no other series that comes close, and there are games that I love in the tactical RPG. I mean, I have covered a lot of tactical RPGs, but I'm telling you, this is the best of all of them. This series goes back a long way. This version is, has some quality of life improvements, because this is Disgaea PC. But the cool thing, you get to design your own dudes to be in your party. You are the child of the leader of the underworld, and you're supposed to take over, but while you're sleeping for 1,000 years waiting for your turn to take over the underworld, somebody else takes it over, and then you got to go take it back. So you're kind of a villain to begin with, and yeah, it's just really, really cool characters. But more than anything, it is the most tactical of tactical RPGs, where every tactical advantage matters. It really and truly does. And so you have to be very intentional about what it is that you're doing in every single battle, which is why you play these kinds of games. And this game just does it so well. It is 80% off at $3.99. Donut County. This is an exceptionally cute game that, let's just say that it's very much like Katamari Damacy, except for instead of building balls of junk, you control this hole that goes around and swallows everything up. And there's a whole backstory that's really funny and interesting. And yeah, it's a really, really cute game that is incredibly fun to play. It's very casual, but it's also very, very fun. And I recommend that you try it. It's an experience. Reminds me of a regular show in some ways. That I think that's kind of an unavoidable comparison, as is the Katamari Damacy. It's like if regular show and Katamari Damacy were crossed over. What is this, a crossover episode? That's right. It's 75% off at $3.89. Enter the Gungeon. Yes, you're not in the Gungeon. Well, you should be in there. You should get in there. Anyway, this is a roguelike shooter. It is one of the bullet helliest in the genre, and it means business. Very, very cool, very inventive in the way that the game is put together. And yeah, it's just one of the best things in this genre. So if you like roguelikes and you like bullet hell shooters, well then this is right up your alley. It is 70% off at $4.49. Evoland. Ooh, let's do Evoland 1 first. But Evoland and Evoland 2, these are RPGs that are love letters to every RPG that has come before. And so as you play the game evolves from simple, like, monochrome 2D top-down type of experience to, like, you know, what RPGs are today. And it takes you through, and there's a whole story that makes the whole thing work. And it is really, really cool how they both came up with the idea, executed it, and then, like, managed to create something new in the genre that is also a love letter to everything that's come before. So Evoland, this is the Legendary Edition with everything. It is 75% off at $4.99. If you get the non-Legendary Edition, it's slightly cheaper. Yeah, $2.49. And the Evoland 2 is also on sale. It is 75% off at $4.99. And this game does the same thing as its predecessor. It just, you know, is a different story and a different path that is equally love lettery to all of the styles of RPGing that have come before. And so, yeah, it's a really cool idea that is just excellently carried out. 75% off, $4.99. Anyway, Fallout New Vegas. Just today, when I was telling someone that I'm playing Fallout 3 at Thanksgiving, they were like, well, have you played New Vegas? And that's what everyone tells me, that this is the game to play out of all the games in the Fallout series. They're like, yeah, Fallout 4, got it. Yeah, awesome, sure. Fallout 3, yep, underrated. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Fallout New Vegas, everybody's like, this is the one. It's 50% off at $4.99. And so if you want to play the one, ooh, that looks violent. Yep, these games are violent, but they're also really cool. Fez is, you know, very similar to me not really enjoying rhythm games. Yeah, I'm also not the world's biggest fan of puzzlers, unless they do something cool. And there's something I just really like about this style of puzzler where you're rotating the world. So things like Crush, but of course the PSP version, not the DS version, because, you know, they really ruined the main character on the DS version. I have opinions about this. But like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, very similar game. Rotating the world to reach new places that you wouldn't have been able to reach otherwise. Really cool puzzle platforming in a rotatable environment that is 2D but plays like it's 3D. 75% off at $2.49. Yeah, this is an indie darling from way back when indie games were first, like, getting mainstream attention. This is one of the early ones to get that kind of attention. Freedom Finger. I just reviewed this one on my channel. This is okay. I have to sell it to you properly, because here's who did this. Yeah, Nolan North, who, okay, let's slow down. Okay, Nolan North, who you know as Nathan Drake from Uncharted and a bajillion other things. He's a great voice actor. John DiMaggio, who is Bender and Jake the Dog and a million other things. He is also in this game as a voice actor. I don't know him as much, but Sam Riegel is he's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's the voice of something really important that I'm forgetting right now. Anyway, regardless, I'll probably put it on the screen if I remember, which I might not, and apologies if I don't. This video is getting rather long very quickly. But excellent voice actors, but there's also an excellent soundtrack, because Aesop Rock, who is an excellent underground rapper, he did the soundtrack, and it's also got, you know, Ty Segall, king of garage rock. It's got Red Fang, who is like a stoner doom type metal band, who are awesome. It's got like the soundtrack is incredible. I cannot sell you enough on the soundtrack. And then the gameplay, like it's really inventive and cool because you're playing as this middle finger. So yes, the sense of humor is absolutely offensive. But yeah, there you go. Aesop Rock, Red Fang, Power Trip, Comtrues. Yeah, the really cool bands. Yeah, Tobacco, Ty Segall, John Mouse, the Radio Department. Anyway, Drab Majesty, who became a lot more popular since this game came out. Anyway, but the cool thing about it is the whole thing about you playing as a hand so that you can grab enemies and use their own guns against them, and then, throw things and punch things. It adds so much to the standard side-scrolling shooter. And look at this. Only 115 people know about this game? That's insane. For the people who worked on this game should have made a much larger splash. Anyway, it's 40% off at $4.79, and I just recommend that you play this. It's just fun. But not only is it fun, it's just well made. It's just a smart, good game. And so, if you like cool voice actors and great soundtracks and shooters that bring cool stuff to the table, yeah, I guess you could get this. Yeah, maybe Passive Aggression will sell more copies. Anyway, FTL, Faster Than Light. This is a roguelike that is, you're traveling across the galaxy and you are commanding your crew and trying to keep your ship alive against all odds as you make your way through hostile space, doing your level best. And, sometimes you're going to have to make some morally dubious choices just to stay alive. And other times you're going to be fully powered up and you're going to be like, you know what? I'm making the right choice this time. It's just really cool how this game is put together and what it's like to play through it. And as a roguelike, it is never the same playthrough twice. And you unlock a lot more ships, and you build up your crew and all of that over time. It's super cool. It's very fun. It is 75% off at $249. Ghost 1.0. This is a Metroidvania that is unfortunately overlooked, I feel, because it's super cool. So you play basically as a thief who is infiltrating, doing some corporate espionage, but then you find out, there's more nefarious things at work. These guys are the guys who hired you to do the corporate espionage, but then pretty soon you find out that there's a lot more at stake, the entire future of humanity. And so you, as a thief whose digital essence can be thrown into these 3D printed robots, you then go and Metroidvania your way through the world and show more gameplay footage. Get to it, because it's really cool. It is. It's an excellent, excellent Metroidvania. I'm not. Why are you just showing the nerds talking? Anyway, it looks like this. It looks like this, and it's very cool and very fun, and there's a lot to unlock and a lot to explore, and the Metroidvania-ness of it is very well designed. Yeah. So, very positive, say the 1,800 people who know about it, and everybody else should, because it's really good. 80% off at $259. Guacamelee, the Super Turbo Championship Edition, because yes, this is apparently the version to own. So this is another Metroidvania from Drinkbox Studios, who make good things. It is a Mexican luchador-themed beat-em-up Metroidvania with a really cool combo-based system that also does light world, dark world switching, and there's a ton of really cool unlockable skills, and the boss battles are epic, and the cultural elements in this are spot on. As someone who lives within a stone's throw of the Mexican border, this game does so many things right, and it looks right, it feels right, it is a ton of fun to play. Highly recommended, 75% off at $374. Also, Guacamelee 2 is on sale. I haven't played it yet, but I hear good things. So, if you want to check that one out, check it out as well. Iron Crypticle. There are two Iron Iptical games. Well, there's Iron Fisticle, which was first, and then Iron Crypticle, which is very much the same, but it adds 4-player simultaneous cooperative gameplay. And this game is like somewhere between Gauntlet and Robotron, because it is an arena shooter with a ton of different power-ups and a relentless horde of angry enemies that just come at you nonstop, and you gotta kill them all. And once you kill them all, then you get the key, you get out of there, and you head into the next spot. And see on the map, there's, mini bosses and large bosses and stores and things like that, places that you're going to want to go, places that you're going to want to avoid. And then you make your way however you choose all the way to the end boss of the level. So how you build up your character over the course of a level really matters. And so, it is definitely a lot of fun. It feels roguelike-ish, but it's not. It's just, very well designed, and it doesn't feel the same way twice, because it's hard for, the seemingly random generated arena battles to feel like the same thing again and again. Anyway, very fun game, very cool. I love it. It's 70% off at $2.99, and like I say, you could play this one multiplayer. And it's, if you want a mix-up of Robotron and Gauntlet, there you go. Lego Batman. Now, here's the thing. The trilogy is $4.99, 90% off. You can buy the individual game 85% off, or at $2.99. These are, the Lego games, they're hit and miss in the sense that they range from like an A to a C, And a C is not a bad game, it's just not a great game. So with the Star Wars ones, the prequels, just like the prequel movies that suck, the games aren't as good, but the original trilogy ones, oh man, so good. The Batman ones, also excellent. Well, I can vouch for Batman 1 and 2, haven't played 3 yet, but to get the trilogy at that price, that's a good deal. And these are some of the really, really good, not all the Lego universe games are worth having, but these ones are definitely worth it. They are very fun. Anyway, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I can't believe this is the price for this, because I was so excited when this came out. It only came out 3 years ago. 92% off, $4.79 was $60. So that's kind of a deal. But this is all 3 Mass Effect games of the original trilogy. Does not include Andromeda, which everyone found disappointing. And these are just amazing size of the universe open world RPG experiences. That choices really matter in these games, except the third one, and everybody got mad. But the choices still kind of matter. People just didn't like the ending as much. But people have kind of calmed down about it. And I would say that, like, in the same way that going to see a movie in the dollar theater lowers your expectations to where you don't get as mad. If you were buying this for $60 and you played Mass Effect 3 and you were like, what? That's how that ends? I could see being upset about, oh, this dude, he is so cool, for real. It is such a great series. I really love it. 92% off, $4.79. That's incredible. To get all 3 Mass Effect games in a remastered version, that's just, that is my number one deal in the under $5 for real. Oh God, I just saw how much time had passed and we need to get going. I've got so many games. So this game, as you can already see, has some fan service. Every time you hit pause in Metal Unit, your girl here who, plays in this metal unit. So most of the time she just looks like a, kind of like a Metroid, except for this is an action hack and slashy, shooty, depending on which weapons you got and what you're doing, and how you're building it over time. Yeah, because you do get to choose some of the things about how you build your character as you go. And that's very cool and fun. And so even though every time you pause the game, what you're going to see, take it back, is this. Which is just a very normal pose that all women strike in the real world all the time. We know that. This is just how women stand, just arched back, grabbing one boob, sticking that booty out, you know, like a woman. Anyway, so the fan service is kind of ridiculous, but it's luckily not the only thing about this game. And yeah, the story is kind of a little bit cheesy, but it's still a very, very fun action RPG, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, platformer kind of a deal. 80% off at $2.99. Moonlighter, very cool game. This is a beautiful pixel art game in which you know, the Dark Lord is dead and you run a shop where you are selling things that were taken out of the fallen Dark Lord's dungeons, you know? And so it's a really cool idea to set up an RPG that way, where somebody else was already the hero and you're just going through and you are looting everything, and you have to decide which loot to keep and which loot to sell, because which loot is going to help you get more loot. And, you know, how's it going to help you build up your store over time so that other people can also go down in there and loot for themselves. It's this whole, you know, looting economy. Maybe we'll have a looting economy soon. Who knows? Maybe this is practice. Anyway, 80% off at $3.99. Olliolii. Olliolii is a really cool skateboarding game in which the skateboarding is done instead of like in an enclosed arena where you just sort of, you know, instead of like a skate park like a Tony Hawk would do. This is, oh, hipster pixel art trash. That's fun. But there are tons of actual real skateboard moves, and you're just skating through entire levels that are basically like just through a city and stuff, and through different really long levels in which you can string together crazy combos. And the combos are the name of the game. So yeah, instead of being in an enclosed space, this one just rolls it out long, and it's very, very cool. 80% off at $2.59. Ori and the Blind Forest. This is another really, really great Metroidvania. I feel like people are sleeping on Metroidvanias now. You don't hear people getting as excited about them as they used to, except for Silksong. Everybody cannot wait to hear whether or not we're going to know what the release date is. But this is a really beautiful Metroidvania. Really well put together, and I own it on multiple platforms because it's really cool and I really like it. And it's, yeah, touching, heartwarming, and yes, overwhelmingly positive, but like recent reviews, kind of, even though very positive, like not bringing a ton in, because like I say, people kind of sleeping on Metroidvanias. It is 75% off at $4.99. There's also a collection. This is not going to be your price, I'm assuming, because Ori and the Will of the Wisps is, yeah, the second game in the series, but play the first one. Now, again, speaking of Metroidvanias that people done slept on, I feel like this one is the most vastly underrated, has a lot of really cool gameplay dynamics, does this Owlboy. And actually, I featured this in a recent Saturday Steam sale video, and somebody bought it, and they were like, this is really cool, I'm glad I bought this. And I was glad to have recommended it to someone who is now enjoying it. So just so you know, recent channel viewer watched one of my recommendations, bought the game, and is enjoying it right now. So 75% off at $4.99. Roof Rage. This is the #1 game that my son and I have played together, because I'm not normally good at playing games together. But this one is like, yeah, there's Brawlhalla and there's, you know, a lot of other fighting games that you can play on Steam, but for whatever reason, this is the one that I enjoy the most, you know, because it has an old school vibe, not just because of the pixel art, but because of the way that the characters are designed, how uniquely they are designed. You can see kind of analogs in other fighting games, and it's just really, really well done with a variety of really interesting move sets, and it's very fun to play 2-player, which you can play online. This has it's not like, you know, couch, wouldn't be co-op, couch competitive. It is online competitive with friends and whatnot. So yeah, at 75% off, $3.74. Get 2 copies, one for you, one for a buddy. That's what I have purchased copies of this game every time that it's at this price. I gift it to people and are like, here, play this with your friend. I gifted it to my nieces and nephews. I've given this game a lot because people really enjoy it because it's really fun. Shadowrun Returns, the classic RPG cyberpunk experience, which dates back to the SNES days. Yeah. This series is so beloved, and this version of the game, you really wonder when somebody does a sort of remake of a classic, how is that going to go? Is it going to carry the spirit of the original? And for this one, the answer is yes, it does. People who played and loved the original also love this game. And so if you enjoy cyberpunk stuff, if you enjoy turn-based RPGs, this is right up your alley. It is 75% off at $374. There's also a director's cut. There's a... Oh, that's the Dragonfall. Yeah, there's the trilogy. There's the Hong Kong, which is another game. There's, multiple Shadowrun games that are on sale right now. This is the sort of remake of the original. And so it's, the best place to start if you have not played the series. I mean, you could also go back and, if it were possible to find, like, ROMs of a thing, but that's illegal, and certainly Nintendo would not deal with that kindly, so I'm not going to tell you to download a ROM of the original and play it on an emulator, because that would be a bad thing for me to do. Anyway, Spelunky. Spelunky is, like, this is the roguelike dungeon crawly Boulder Dash type experience that won. When I say won, I mean it is the game of this variety that people always point to, that people are always like, yes, this one. Yes, Spelunky. There are a lot of games like Spelunky, and that you can enjoy just as much, that I do recommend on a regular basis. But you know what? The original won out for a reason. I sometimes sound like I'm being, like I'm hating on Spelunky a little bit because it's the one that won and not, Cave Blazers, which is a personal favorite. But yeah, it's still an excellent game. 80% off at $2.99. I remember when you couldn't get it for less than like $12.99. This is a crazy deal. Jedi Fallen Order. It's only like 5 years old. That is a very new game to me, the way I buy games. And it's a beautiful Star Wars game. And yeah, the Star Wars universe is vast and interesting. And anything that you can do to not feel like Disney is laying its big ham type fist all over everything. Anything that you can get the Star Wars that doesn't have a baby Yoda and ham type Disney fists all over it, I'm all about. So 90% off, $3.99 for the base game. If you get the deluxe edition, it's still under 10. It's 85% off at $7.49. So I cannot believe that this game is that cheap, because man, that's not what I paid for it. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay, these are the actual Star Wars prequels as far as I am concerned. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. These games are getting long in the tooth, but I don't care. They are just some of the best Star Wars experiences that you are ever going to have. Yeah, are you seriously going to do the whole scroll? Jump ahead, my guy. Okay, that's one way to sell a Star Wars game. But yeah, as you can see, graphically, it's not amazing. It was merely okay back then graphically. I remember looking at it and being like, I've seen better graphics. When, my roommate was playing this on the Xbox, and he's like, no, dude, but the experience. And I took his word for it, and I was very happy to have done so, because this is a real Star Wars experience, and the only Star Wars prequels that you need to worry about are Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I'm telling you right now, when I got to the part in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 where, I don't know why they show that, because that's the goofiest part. The first time I played this, I was like, is my computer doing that weird thing where if it's overpowered, it speeds things up? No, that is how that scene has always played, and it's goofy as all get out, but I love it for that. Anyway, oh yeah, the racing sequences, I got really ridiculously good at those. Anyway, Yeah, and you get to build your character up over time. These are really awesome RPGs. Oh yeah, your astromech droid who is like, repairing the ship as you're on the brink of death and destruction. Oh, there's so many cool characters. This is an assassin robot who, if you play your cards right, will join your squad. If you don't, you're gonna have to try and kill him, and he's hard to kill. Anyway, but like, yeah, these are Choices Matter RPGs in the Star Wars universe that hold up like you wouldn't believe. 65% off, $349. I believe that is the price on both of them, the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. But ask anybody who's played these games. These are some of the best Star Wars video gaming experiences you will ever have, and they add so much to the lore, it's insane. Streets of Fury EX. This is a game that when I played it for the first time, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe somebody did this. Like, they clearly just took themselves and their friends and did a full motion video capture, like Mortal Kombat. Only this is a Streets of Rage type side-scrolling beat-em up, and it's so funny. And you can tell that the people who made this just had a blast making it. It's such a good idea, and it's so well executed. I love this game. It's so fun and so funny. It's 70% off at $2.99, and I'm telling you, I gasped audibly when I played it for the first time. I was like, what? This is the game you made? You're kidding. Anyway, Streets of Rogue is a really fun, really cool game. You can do so many things in this game. You'll get these little missions that you need to pass in order to pass each floor as you're making it up this, it's like a city, but it's built in a giant, tower kind of a deal. And you're going up as you're making your way through. And yeah, you don't know how people are going to react to a certain degree to the things that you're going to do. Yeah, you want to throw a toilet? Yeah, pick up the toilet, throw it at people. Take weird drugs, get super big, break everything, kill everyone, or not. Anyway, do it other ways, because there are stealth ways, and there are so many different things to do. This game is super fun. It's 80% off at $3.99. We're getting there. Super Shooter. This is by Dan, who is a viewer of this channel. He made this game. He gave me a copy for free. He let me give away some copies of this when I reviewed it. So very much thanks to Dan for that. And this is a rocket jump. It's kind of like Portal with rocket jumps, except for instead of portals, you are activating switches as you're rocket jumping backwards across increasingly difficult platforms. So if you like Portal, if you like that kind of action puzzle platforming in a 3D environment with rocket jumping, well, there you go. Oh, it's not on sale. It's just $2.99. I don't know how this got in here if it's not on sale. Dan, you lucky so-and-so that I'm selling your game even though it's not on sale. Synthetik Ultimate. This one is an action roguelike in which I love mech games. I just love mech games so much. I will play any mech game that is worth playing. And this one is very much worth playing. You're just making your way through levels, killing everything in sight, picking up crazy power-ups, and trying to survive against, endless hordes of enemies, and it's super duper fun. Yeah, and some of the weapons you can pick up are really, really cool. And yeah, because it's a roguelike, you really do have to worry about how you're doing your character build over time, and so there's some strategy to it as well. 75% off at $4.99. Torchlight and Torchlight 2. I will show you that Torchlight is 80% off at $2.99. I will show you that they don't have the video for this game, but I love the art style. It is a Diablo clone. Torchlight and Torchlight 2 are my two favorite Diablo clones of all time. They are just so much fun and so well made. And Torchlight 2, you have a 1 in 4 chance of spawning the secret Minecraft level, which, here's something cool. The first time I played it, I spawned the Minecraft level, and if you just have a habit of exploring everything, which I do in games like this, then you will find the Minecraft level if you have it, and you'll get one Minecraft weapon which can be multiple different things. Can be pickaxe, axe, sword, various different implements, but they can also be everything from wood. They can be wood, iron, gold, or diamond. And I got the diamond sword, and that carried me through the rest of my playthrough. I just had this OP Minecraft weapon, which was super fun. I don't mind at all being like, well, now I have this awesome OP Minecraft weapon that's just going to carry me for the next several levels. Anyway, yeah, you see the red orb and the blue orb. It's a Diablo clone. Also, great modding community for Torchlight and Torchlight 2, and there are achievements for modding those games because they want there to be an active modding community. Undertale. Undertale is an experience. It's an RPG. It's a bullet hell shooter if you choose to shoot, which you might not want to do on your first playthrough for reasons. Yeah. Anyway, it's got a ton of different endings, different, your choices really do matter in this one a whole lot. And the graphics are very intentionally primitive, but this is a game with a world of lore. I have had multiple conversations with my children who love this game just about deep lore of this game and which characters are canonically in relationships and which characters canonically identify which way, and it's really, there's so much to this game. Anyway, it's 75% off at $249. It's a game that you should experience if you never have. West of Loathing, a game with a great sense of humor, very silly, very fun, stick figures and whatnot, and you would think that there's not much that you could do in terms of, action, shooty, RPG-ish experience, because, yeah, this is turn-based RPG, but also stick figure action adventure, with, every time you go into combat, it's turn-based, like you do. And I'm telling you, sense of humor is great. It's so much fun. It's 64% off at $395. Almost there. Wolfenstein: The New Order. Someone recently told me that they are really enjoying this game because they're like, yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about shooting Nazis. But yeah. So this is very much a rebirth. There is a Wolfenstein game that came after the original Wolfenstein 3D. That one came out like 2002? It's been a while. It's a good game. It is kind of long in the tooth. This one is much more recent, and I am told very, very fun and very cool, and that there are, in fact, some really interesting sense of humor things in this one. So, yeah, if you want to shoot Nazis and if you want to play a really cool first-person shooter, well, there you go. It's 75% off at $499. So there that is. And last but not least, X-Morph Defense. X-Morph Defense is a really cool tower defense game, and I don't play many tower defense games. I'd rather play an RTS. I'll be honest. If I'm gonna have to do tower defense, I would rather do it under the guise of RTS. Oh yeah, that reminds one rather of Mass Effect. But this one, yes, you do set up the tower, but then also you get to play as a playable character with your ship in the actual combat of the game. And so instead of just being this passive Plants versus Zombies, you're gonna lay down your things and then just let them do what they do and hope they do it in time without dying, you actually get to have a say in it. And so it's a really cool idea. So if you've ever been tower defense, that's kind of frustrating, this may cure you of that. Or if you've ever been man, I like tower defense, but I wish I could do some of the shooting. Well, there you go. It's 80% off at $399. Anyway, people, man, what a long video. Told you we had a ton of things to get through, but hopefully you found some games in the under $5 category that are going to help you to get some budget gaming. Maybe you're going to find things that maybe it's things that you've been waiting to play for a long time until they got cheap. Well, they're cheap now. And maybe it's things you never heard of, that you're looking for something, you've played all the things that people have heard of, and now it's time to go digging for those indie gems, those hidden gems and whatnot. Well, that's what I specialize in. So hopefully you found some things like that in this video. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. I will see you in the next one, which will be the under $2 category. Anyway, people, thanks for being here. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.